Hi everybody, I'm here to talk about last night's draw in Athens against Panathinaikos, which put Rangers into the next qualifying round. But not only that, it ensures Europa League group football. So that was the first target of the season, I reckon. Forget about getting into the Champions League, that's a bit unlikely, but we just had to get into the Europa League without having to qualify. So that's been done already. Second competitive game of the season. So well done, Russell Martin and the lads, for doing that last night. Although there's an old saying, if you can't be good, be lucky. And Rangers were lucky last night. It was a replica of the first game at Ibrox, especially the first half. They had all the possession practically. We hardly got up the other end. They had all sorts of shots, thankfully high and wide, or when they were on target, Jack Butland was there to block them somehow with his body, his legs, whatever. So that was exactly the same as the Ibrox game. They should have got in maybe 3 goals up at half time, and they didn't. So that was vital. So we were lucky in lots of ways, but who cares as long as we've made it to the Europa League at least. When I saw the team, I was shocked, if not disappointed. The main thing being, not only is he still playing the likes of Dud Dowell, but he's practically playing the whole team out of position. I mean, you can only do that for so long before you become a cropper. Butland was in his position. Oh, well, that's brilliant. Rothwell, that was his proper position. And, Tavernier, you can't move Tav. Captain Heroic has got to play badly in his position every game. So what did we have? With a highly rated, very expensive right back, once again shunted out to the left back position where he just looked poor. I mean, really exposed. Just if you thought that was his real position, you'd be saying, why have we brought this guy to the club? That's how bad he was at Aarons. Then you had right-footed Suter playing in the left-hand side. Then you had left-footed Diomande playing the right side of midfield, and right-footed Raskin playing the left side of midfield. You have Finlay Curtis out in the left wing, and I'm sure he's, if anything, a right-sided winger or midfielder, goal-scoring midfielder. And you had Dowell, who ain't a right winger. I don't know what he is, he's just a dud. So you had him there, and Danilo, who's never an out-and-out centre-forward, the lone striker. So that team really put the fear into me from the beginning. So it really was lucky that we came through that with a draw. I mean, before the game, obviously, I would have settled for a 1-0 defeat or a 1-goal defeat. But to get a draw was a minor miracle again. But we can't keep doing this. No manager can keep playing most of his team out of position and get away with it. You could maybe just get away with it if you had the 11 best players in the world in your team and they were playing out of position. Even then, that's dubious. But we don't have the best players in the world, so we're going to be up against it if he continues like this. I'm assuming, or I'm hoping, the manager is doing this because either he doesn't have the personnel in the club that he really wants to have, or there's other people who aren't up to speed yet, not fit enough to start games or play whole 90 minutes. And then once he gets these two things, or one of these two things to take place, he'll actually play guys in their proper position. So I'm not going to go through the mechanics of the game. As I've said already, they dominated. They should have scored a few goals. We hardly made a chance, to be truthful. So great draw in the end. Their goal in the second half, when you see it again, a chip into a crowded box to the far post. Usually it's Tavernier who's unaware of the goal scorer lurking or running in behind him. But no, he was actually marking a guy before the man who scored. So it was Dud Dowell, who didn't have a clue that the guy who's going to score was 2 yards behind him. And okay, it took a couple of minutes to decide that he was onside. It was that close, but it was 2 yards nearer the goal than Dowell. Just shocking defending. The guy does nothing. So now that was their goal. Our goal came from a decent move. I think Raskin had a shot, then Danilo hit it off the goalie's legs, and it bounced out to substitute Gassama, and he just fired it into the net from about 12 yards out. Brilliant goal, saved our bacon, and that's twice he's managed to do something that made us get into this vital next round of the Champions League qualifier. So he's practically paid for his transfer fee already. Whereas somebody like Dowell could play for the next 10 years and they wouldn't pay for his wages, never mind any transfer fee. So one each, we're all delighted at that. Poor performance, they've really got to get better than that. Okay, they did some nice passing about this signature style, but you've got to carry some sort of threat. And with Dowell, Danilo and Curtis up front, there wasn't a threat the whole night, I would have said. So you've really got to do better than that if you're going to play this possession-based passing game, which is what they tried to do last night. A couple of scary moments when we did lose possession just outside their own box, but they were fewer than I anticipated, so I suppose that was an improvement. But we've really got to get our act together, or I wouldn't put it past us to drop points at Motherwell on Saturday. That's how inadequate most of them have been. And when you think about the guys he's playing, Dowell, I looked at the headlines in the papers this morning, and one was something like Russell Martin gives transfer hint regarding Dowell. Oh yes, we've got rid of him, he's on his way to Birmingham. No, he's going over the game and he's telling us how he was very good last night and all the great work he did, pressing the opposition and being able to take a pass, and at set pieces. I must have missed that. Did he take any set pieces? Or maybe he was standing in an area that attracted a defender across him. I mean, this is going back to the days of Clement and Beale, where they just gaslight the fans. They're just telling us stuff that's absolutely untrue. According to Martin last night, Danilo had a good game. Fans won't see that, but the amount of running he did and moving into space, okay, he didn't score a goal, but no, he did all this hard work. Yeah, that'll be right. Same with Dowell, worked so hard, tracking back, all this kind of stuff. He did nothing. No, I tell a lie. He caused the first goal for the opposition, and any other time you saw him, he got a pass out in the right wing, he controlled it, and then he passed it 5 yards inside or 5 yards back to whoever, Tavernier or somebody. That was his contribution the whole game. He didn't do a great tackle. Well, he did a foul at one point that might have been a necessary foul, but he didn't do great tackles, he didn't do great passes, he didn't have a shot at goal, he didn't even take a throw in from what I remember. And the manager telling us he had a great game, what a player, he's going to be valuable going ahead for us this season, he's going to play a big part. Well, if he really believes that, we are in trouble. I mean, come on. Same with Tavernier. He's just gaslighting us. That's what the previous managers were annoying the fans about. And the fans were saying how nice it is to have a manager who talks sense and tells you the truth. Well, he started already not telling the truth if he's trying to kid us on that Dowell's going to be a really good player for us and what a great game he had last night and all this sort of stuff. Hardly one player had a decent, never mind good game. The goalkeeper, he had a good game. Oh, that's it. Maybe Rothwell had a reasonable game. That's about it. Nobody else. But this manager's telling us, how hard they worked. Okay, if they can't work hard, we're in trouble. But how hard they worked, and they followed his instructions and they did what they were expected to do, and they got their just rewards. No, we didn't really. We were lucky. So let's hope he realises this, or we really are in trouble if he's going to continue playing some of these duds, and even worse, playing guys out of position. What is it? Square pegs and round holes, etc. Oh, we've got enough square pegs, that's for sure. So let's hope we can play better from now on, and you never know, we might even beat Victoria Pilsen and get into the playoff round. And that would only be vital because it would get us another 5 million quid, even if we get knocked out at that stage, because there's no way this team is going to beat the likes of Benfica in a playoff round. But who cares? Right now, we're in the Europa League group stage. We can look forward to that. And hopefully, we can look forward to league games after we beat Motherwell on Saturday. I'm putting that beat in inverted commas just in case you didn't get the intonation of my voice. So onwards and upwards. Come on, Russell, tell the truth. get the team formed the way it should be, get them playing the way they should be. You've got another week before the next Europa game.